got done with the 45-degree contact point, and now we're going to get into what is it that drives this. But before we do, where are the pain points behind not having a good enough engine to drive your shots?
Sure. And some of it's taught, unfortunately. Like you hear a lot of this loading up and rotate your shoulders. Well, you can see just by looking at me how off balance that is. Look at my head tilting, right? But when you move your hips, see that? I can move my hips all around and my head stays right in the center. So for starters, learning how to rotate your hips properly as opposed to your upper body or no rotation at all, just arming the ball, you have an incredible sense of dynamic balance, meaning balance while you're in motion. Mm-hmm. And that, I think that's the key, because so many coaches today are talking about, hey, rotate your shoulders, which is fine. It's better than just arming the ball, but it's certainly, like I said earlier, it's not your core, and you're not going to get the optimal stability on the hip, because if you're rotating your shoulders, that means at contact, you're sort of waving. If your shoulders are sort of clean and neutral, and you rotate your lower body, now you can face the ball while you move your hips and never take your eyes off it. Where if you rotate your shoulders, your head moves like that. So it really makes a very big difference. And like I said, it's this continuous motion like Federer has and all the pros do. And where once they start, they're in their idle position, right? They're doing their little figure eight, waiting for the kind of like a baseball, like a baseball player like this, right? Waiting. They're waiting like this in their ready position, and all they do is unfold with that same hip rotation.
A big pain point is that when you're not using the engine of your body, then you're going to rely on your arm and your hand too much. And so I don't know. I believe approximately 99% of tennis players are overemphasizing their arm or hand in the stroke, and then they're losing out on the ability to, really connect to that engine and make the game easier for themselves. So now, if there was one thing that people would do right now to kind of connect the engine to the 45, what's that one thing?
I just have the players line up. Like we have tools, like this is a Broudy board here. Mm-hmm. It has two swivels. And when you stand on it, you learn by just turning your feet to the right and left, or left and right. You obviously your hips are attached to your legs. So when you turn your feet, your hips learn to move. So I place this at the 45-degree angle, whether it's forehand or backhand or serve. And then I say, okay, so we're going to stay on the board. We're not going to fall off. And all I want you to do is rotate slowly to the right, slowly to left, and then reach out to the 45 and let your arm just relax. So that's how I get them started, is by using this device here.
Okay, awesome. And I'm going to break in there because I have a testimonial for you right now. I think it was 2001. I was director of tennis. I was director of tennis at a club. I was one of the better 5-0 doubles players in Northern California, 3 straight Grand Prix appearances. And I was working with a junior college player who was probably a little bit better than me. So he's also really good 5-0, maybe a 5-5. So I went and saw you, picked up an 8 board, brought it to the club. We were just messing around with it for a few minutes, and I'll be darned if we weren't both hitting the ball 5 miles an hour faster immediately. And then not only that, but we were also better able to fend off the increased pace that we were each hitting. It was one of the best quantum improvements I've seen in my game or any of my players' games, in a matter of minutes.
That's great. Well, it's the second fundamental in our program. And it's funny, any one of the fundamentals changes your game dramatically. I mean, like you said earlier about the 45, just getting a player aware of the 45 can literally change everything about their game. And same with this figure eight. Once you realize that you have these hips and they are capable of moving in this nice fluid way, it opens up, it makes so much more available to you. It makes your arm moving nicer available. It makes balance more available to you. But if you don't know how to use this, you don't unlock all these things, all these phenomenon, natural phenomenon that could happen if you don't move your hips correct or if you don't face that 45. So of course I'm
Awesome.
teasing. There's a third principle, a third fundamental that I'm teasing with, and we'll get into that, I guess,
So
next.
I think it's really important for people to actually tune into your stuff, go look at that website and see these videos. There's some things that you can see for free. If you watch all these videos until the end, then you're going to get Jack's offer that he's going to have. He's got something free for you in the last video. Make sure you watch these all the way through. Jack, what's the next major principle that we want to talk about here in the next clip?
Well, the entire teaching is based on the concept of a standing wave. Okay, a standing wave is kind of an interesting thing. If you take a rope and you hold on to your end of the rope, and I move mine continuously back and forth, it creates a sine wave, right? In fact, they even use them now. You ever see to go to the gym now? They have these heavy ropes.
Right. Okay. So in the next video, we're gonna dig more deeply into the sine wave.
That's
and
right.
So thank you, and we'll see you in the next clip. And remember, watch all the way to the end.